Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery Series. My name is Pullein and this week it's a time to talk about to-do list managers. First up, a to-do list manager is not a project manager. Now, if you go into a project manager's office, if you go into a busy project manager's office and you look at their computer, you are not going to find them managing projects using applications like Todoist, OmniFocus, Things 3, Remember the Milk, Trello. You just will not find them using applications like that to manage projects. Why? Well, that's quite simply because those kind of applications are not project managers. They are task managers. They're to-do list managers. And now, when you think about it, let's go back a few years. What is a to-do list? A to-do list is essentially a list of tasks that you have to do today. Remember, a list of tasks. Now, it's quite true that those tasks might be linked and probably are linked to a project, but they're not projects. You're not dealing with projects in a task manager. You don't see the overview picture. Now, let me just give you the number one reason why a task list manager is not a good project manager. And it's quite simply that as soon as you check off a task, it disappears. Now, each of those applications that I mentioned before, OmniFocus, Todoist, Remember the Milk, and those, there are ways of being able to go in and find the task that you've actually completed, but it's not intuitive, it's not easy to find it, and you really do need to know all about the application. So these applications were never built to manage your projects. There are some very, very complex project manager software out there that are prohibitively expensive. And even when you're looking at something like that, if you look at the basic idea of a project management tool, well, you're just looking at Gantt charts. A Gantt chart is a really good project management tool because you can see the timeline that a project is estimated to work on. You can see the different tasks, the different people involved, and the different components and materials that you're going to need in order to complete that project. But when you're trying to do the same thing inside a task manager, that's when things get very messy. It's also why most people, even if they are using a digital to-do list manager or even a paper one, are still stressed out and overwhelmed. It's simply because they're using a tool that to do a job it wasn't designed to do. So how do you manage projects? Well, let me just take you another step back. If you go back to the original Getting Things Done book. Now, I don't know why, and I think this is a misunderstanding of how people have read the book, or people may not have completely read the book, but GTD, you do not manage projects in your to-do list. Think about it. GTD is all about the context. That's the people, the place, and the tool that you need in order to do a job. So you don't create project folders in a GTD to-do list. You create context. So it's either the people that you work with. So you get, my husband, my wife, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, or whatever. It could be like my workplace, my home, and then my computer, my phone, whatever. That's how you manage your tasks. And in order to do a task, you need to be at home. That goes into your home folder. If the task needs you to be at work, it goes into your work folder. If a task needs to be done that requires you to talk to your boss, it goes into your boss's folder. The project list, the project management is done in project folders and project support materials, which are not inside your to-do list. And if you've ever looked at David Allen's e-productivity system, and there's quite a few examples out there, if you just Google it, you'll find it. If you look at the folders that David Allen has in the left-hand side of that project, there's no projects, simply because you don't manage projects inside a to-do list. It just doesn't work like that. And that's where a lot of people's overwhelm and stress comes out. Now, I have about 38, maybe 40 clients at the moment ongoing in my coaching program. I don't manage those individual clients inside Todoist. It just wouldn't make sense, because maybe half of them have no tasks, maybe 5 or 6 of them have a lot of tasks to do. No, it's just a really silly place to manage that kind of thing. Instead, I manage my coaching clients using a simple spreadsheet. Now, I use Apple's numbers, but you could use Excel or you could use Google Sheets. Doesn't really matter. Now, the beauty of using a simple spreadsheet is I can create the fields that I want to have the information that I want about each individual client. I also have an individual note for each client inside my Notes app. So as I'm working with them, as we're on a call, I can write down my notes and then I can send them the feedback after each call. So I have a record of every call. I have a record of all the things that they've said they're going to do, so I can hold them accountable to that sort of thing. I have it all written down, but not inside my to-do list. It would just be a crazy place to put it. You know, I put that in a Notes app, which is named by the client's name and then detailed underneath. But going a step further, where do I manage my projects? Well, I suppose in a way I'm following GTD, but I'm also following Franklin Planner, which is where I basically started. My projects are in a separate area for projects. So if it's a project that requires a lot of documents, say for example I have an online course to make, then I have a project folder in my project folders list. So I have in iCloud, as I use it, I have a folder dedicated to that particular online course, and inside there will be all the thumbnails. I'll also have all the video files, and any workbooks that I'm working on will all be in the file folder. Now, my notes regarding that course, ideas and things that I want to add, will be inside my Notes app, because it's just a more logical place. I can scribble notes on my iPad and add that in. I can type notes in depending on how I feel. A to-do list manager would just be a terrible place to do that. Just now when I think about it, it just wouldn't make any sense at all. What I need is a task in Todoist that will say work on online course or work on thumbnail to online course. And if necessary, I can create a link to the folder or a link to the notes. So I just click and it will take me to the right place. I don't often do that, but I can do that. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, for those of you who are deeply embedded into having all your projects inside your to-do list, remember you're not actually using the tool in the right way. Now, it may work for you, and if it does work for you, I would say don't change it. But for a lot of you and a lot of people I talk to and a lot of the forums I follow and the threads that I'm reading, what I notice is that people are still stressed out and overwhelmed when they're using a to-do list. When I dig deeper and I see the screenshots of how they've got their folders set up, I go, haha, it's pretty obvious why they're stressed out and overwhelmed and why they keep having to reschedule tasks. It's because they're trying to manage all their projects inside one app, and it doesn't work. It wasn't designed to work that way. And if you look at any good productivity system, your project support material is always outside of the to-do list, and the files and the materials that you need, your project folders, again, are outside of the to-do list. Your to-do list is just giving you the tasks that you need to do. Now, if it's a must, it gets put on your calendar. If it's a should do, it gets put into your to-do list. So I have things like, well, buy the dog new medicine. I don't need a project folder for that. I just need to go to the vet and do that. Write blog post. Now you see, there's a classic one. I have a task to write a blog post, but all my list of blog post ideas, they're not inside my to-do list. It would just be a crazy place to put that. No, where they are in my Notes app. I have a long list of blog post ideas that I keep in my Notes app. And it's the same with these videos. It would be a crazy place to put them inside my to-do list. It just doesn't make sense. The ideas for these videos are in my Notes app under a content folder, so I can see very quickly when I need to start planning out the videos. So I really wanted to get that out there because I see so many people struggling and so many people trying to squeeze applications to do things they were not designed to do. And you've got to remember that a to-do list manager or a task list manager is not a project manager. And you go to any project manager's office and you can find that they are not using that kind of software to manage their projects. It's a lot more complicated than that, and you do need several areas that needs to be managing the different parts of a project. But your to-do list manager is telling you what you need to work on today. So it could be work on this project or work on that project or review this client's details. Whatever it is, you need to be looking at it and then working on those folders. So hopefully that's cleared something up, and hopefully it's given you some ideas. As I say, if it works for you and having all your projects inside your to-do list, that's great. If not, step back and review how you're doing it. Just think about what would simplify your to-do list. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode. It just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.